What if the key to success wasn't IQ, talent, or luck, but the ability to control emotions, influence others, and command any room? This audiobook unlocks the blueprint to unstoppable power. Master emotional intelligence, and you'll never be overlooked, ignored, or powerless again. Introduction. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about success is a lie? That intelligence, hard work, and even talent, while important, are not the deciding factors that separate the powerful from the powerless, the rich from the broke, the influential from the ignored. What if I told you that the real key to dominating in business, relationships, and life itself has nothing to do with IQ, but everything to do with something far more powerful, far more untapped, and far more dangerous in the hands of those who know how to use it? This is where emotional intelligence, EQ, comes in. And if you're not already harnessing it to its full potential, let me be blunt. You're at a massive disadvantage. Right now, you are leaving power on the table. You are allowing yourself to be outmaneuvered, outnegotiated, and outperformed by people who aren't smarter than you, who don't work harder than you, and who aren't more talented than you. They simply understand something you don't. They understand how to read people, control emotions, both their own and others, and navigate social interactions with the precision of a master chess player. They aren't reacting to life. They are bending it to their will. And here's the scary part. You don't even see it happening. Emotional intelligence is the single most underrated, yet most dangerous skill in existence. It determines who gets the job and who gets left behind. It determines who closes the deal and who walks away empty-handed. It determines who gets respected and who gets dismissed, who gets love and loyalty, and who gets ghosted and forgotten. It is the hidden force that dictates your confidence, your influence, your ability to command respect, and your ability to win. If you don't know how to control it, then someone else, someone who does, is already controlling you. Why emotional intelligence matters more than IQ. For decades, we've been sold the myth that IQ is the key to success. Get good grades, get a degree, work hard, be smart, and somehow everything will fall into place. But if that were true, why do so many intelligent, hardworking people struggle? Why do so many people with degrees and high IQs still find themselves stuck, overlooked, ignored, and powerless? The answer is simple. IQ alone is not enough. In fact, research has proven that IQ accounts for only about 20% of success. The remaining 80%? It's emotional intelligence, the ability to read people, the ability to manage emotions under pressure, the ability to persuade, negotiate, and adapt, the ability to make people trust you, follow you, respect you, even fear you when necessary. This is why the most successful individuals in the world are not always the smartest in the room, but they are the most emotionally intelligent. They know how to navigate the social battlefield. They know how to get what they want, not by force, but by influence. Think about it. The best salespeople in the world are not the ones with the most knowledge about a product. They are the ones who know how to read their customers, tap into their emotions, and make them feel like they need it. The best CEOs are not always the ones with the highest IQs. They are the ones who can inspire people, build connections, and make others believe in their vision. The most respected leaders, the most magnetic personalities, the most dominant forces in any room, they don't just know facts, they know people. And that is why EQ is the ultimate superpower. The 4 pillars of emotional intelligence. To truly master emotional intelligence, you need to understand its core components. EQ isn't just about being nice or empathetic. It's about control. Control over your own emotions, control over how others perceive you, and ultimately, control over the outcome of every interaction. Here's what separates the emotionally weak from the emotionally powerful. 1. Self-awareness, The art of seeing yourself. Clearly, most people walk through life blind to their own weaknesses. They don't understand how they come across, how their emotions control them, or how their subconscious fears shape their decisions. Self-awareness is the ability to step outside yourself and see what others see. It is the ability to recognize your triggers, your patterns, and the unspoken signals you give off. Without it, you are a puppet, controlled by emotions you don't even realize you have. 2. Self-regulation, the power to control yourself under pressure. Imagine being in a high-stakes argument, a life-changing business negotiation, or a tense confrontation. Most people crack. They lash out in anger. They let fear make their decisions. They become defensive, reactive, or emotional, and in that moment, they lose. True power lies in the ability to stay composed, think clearly, and control your response no matter what is happening around you. It is what separates leaders from followers, winners from losers. Those who master self-regulation own the battlefield. 3. Social awareness, the ability to read and predict people instantly. The most dangerous person in any room is the one who can see through every lie, every fake smile, every hidden agenda. Social awareness is the ability to read the subtle cues, body language, tone shifts, micro-expressions that reveal what people are truly thinking and feeling. It is the skill that allows you to detect deception, recognize power dynamics, and always be one step ahead. Most people only hear words. You will hear the truth behind them. 4. Influence, the science of making people follow, trust, and obey. The ability to control a room without force, the ability to make people want to help you, respect you, and say yes to you, without them even realizing why. This is the highest level of emotional intelligence. It is the reason some people command attention effortlessly, while others struggle to be heard. It is the reason some people can persuade, negotiate, and lead, while others are ignored, overlooked, and dismissed. Influence is not about manipulation. It is about making people believe in you, trust you, and ultimately follow your lead. The final truth: emotional intelligence is your greatest advantage. The truth is, life is a game of power. Every interaction, every relationship, every opportunity is a battle between those who can influence and those who are influenced. The people who rise to the top are not the ones who work the hardest. They are the ones who understand people the best. They know how to build loyalty, command attention, and control emotions, both theirs and others. You now have a choice. You can ignore this power. Keep letting your emotions control you. Keep letting other people manipulate you. Keep missing opportunities because you can't see the hidden dynamics at play. Or you can master it. Become someone who sees everything, controls themselves under pressure, influences people effortlessly, and ultimately dominates every situation they enter. This is your emotional intelligence blueprint, and once you master it, you will never be powerless again. Chapter 1: The Power of Emotional Intelligence. What if I told you that the smartest person in the room is rarely the most successful? That the straight A student, the genius with the high IQ, or the one with the best technical skills often gets left behind while others, less intelligent, less talented, rise to the top? You've seen it happen. The hardworking employee who gets passed over for a promotion in favor of someone with half the experience but twice the charisma. The brilliant entrepreneur who builds an amazing product but gets outperformed by a competitor with better people skills. The relationships that crumble, the business deals that fall apart, the missed opportunities, not because of a lack of intelligence, but because of something far more powerful: emotional intelligence. The truth is, success has never been about raw intelligence alone. If it were, the most successful people on the planet would be scientists, mathematicians, and engineers, not business moguls, politicians, or leaders. The difference between those who struggle and those who dominate isn't just talent or hard work. It's the ability to control emotions, influence people, and navigate the complexities of human interaction. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is the one skill that separates those who win from those who watch others win. It determines who gets ahead in business, who builds unshakable relationships, who thrives under pressure, and who stays stuck in a cycle of frustration and missed chances. If you don't master your emotions, someone else will. And if you don't understand how to read and influence people, you will always be at their mercy. Think about the people who shaped the world. Steve Jobs wasn't just a visionary. He had an unparalleled ability to read emotions, command presence, and inspire obsession. Elon Musk isn't just an engineer. He knows how to create emotional excitement and make people believe in the impossible. Oprah Winfrey didn't become one of the most powerful women in the world by chance. She mastered empathy, storytelling, and emotional connection. The greatest leaders, the most successful entrepreneurs, the most influential individuals, they don't just think. They feel, and more importantly, they understand how to make others feel. That's the power of emotional intelligence, and once you unlock it, you become unstoppable. But let's get brutally honest. Most people have zero control over their emotions. They react instead of respond. They get defensive instead of listening. They take things personally instead of seeing the bigger picture. They let fear hold them back, anger push them into bad decisions, and stress eat away at their potential. They assume they're good with people, when in reality, they misread situations, misunderstand emotions, and push others away without even realizing it. They think they're making logical decisions, but their emotions control them at every turn. The difference between those who thrive in any situation and those who struggle their entire lives is emotional intelligence. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to navigate life effortlessly, getting exactly what they want while you feel stuck, this is why. What is emotional intelligence, and why does it make or break you? Emotional intelligence isn't about suppressing emotions. It's not about being overly nice or agreeable. It's about understanding emotions, both yours and others, so you can use them strategically. It's the ability to recognize what you're feeling, control how you react, read other people's emotions, and use that information to influence outcomes. It's about managing relationships, handling conflict, staying calm under pressure, and making decisions that serve you rather than sabotage you. EQ is made up of 4 core pillars. 1. Self-awareness, the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions in real time. 2. Self-regulation, the ability to control emotional impulses and reactions. 3. Social awareness, the ability to read and interpret the emotions of others. 4. Relationship management, the ability to influence, communicate, and build powerful connections. When you master these 4 areas, you master yourself. And once you master yourself, you can master the world. Why self-awareness is your greatest weapon. The most dangerous person in any situation is the one who lacks self-awareness, the employee who doesn't realize they come across as arrogant, the manager who thinks they're inspiring but actually instills fear, the entrepreneur who doesn't understand how others perceive them, burning bridges without even realizing it. If you don't know yourself, if you don't recognize how your emotions influence your actions and how your actions impact others, you are walking through life blind. Self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence. If you can't recognize your own patterns, your triggers, and your emotional blind spots, you will always be at their mercy. But once you understand how your mind works, you take back control. Self-regulation. Control your emotions, or they will control you. How many times have you made a decision out of anger, fear, or frustration, only to regret it later? How many opportunities have you missed because you let self-doubt paralyze you? How many relationships have you damaged because you reacted instead of responded? The ability to regulate your emotions is what separates high performers from those who crumble under pressure. Self-regulation doesn't mean ignoring your emotions. It means understanding them, controlling them, and using them as fuel rather than letting them destroy you. When you master self-regulation, you become unshakable. Social awareness, the skill that separates leaders from followers. Imagine walking into any room and instantly knowing who's in charge, who's nervous, who's lying, and who's truly on your side. Imagine being able to sense unspoken tension in a meeting before it erupts into conflict. Imagine knowing exactly what to say to make someone trust you, open up to you, or agree with you. That's social awareness, the ability to read people like a book. The truth is, most people are emotionally blind. They misread situations, fail to pick up on social cues, and miss opportunities because they don't see what's really happening beneath the surface. The people who win, whether in business, relationships, or life, are the ones who understand human nature better than everyone else. Relationship management. Influence, persuade, and win. Your success is directly tied to your ability to manage relationships. Whether it's leading a team, negotiating a deal, resolving a conflict, or simply making a strong first impression, the way you handle people determines your fate. Emotional intelligence isn't just about being liked. It's about being respected, trusted, and remembered. The people who get ahead aren't always the most talented. They're the ones who know how to connect, inspire, and influence. Master EQ, master life. You now understand why emotional intelligence isn't just another skill. It's the skill. It determines your career, your relationships, your ability to handle adversity, and your overall happiness. The good news? Emotional intelligence is not fixed. It's something you can develop, sharpen, and use to change your entire life. In this book, you will learn how to build unshakable confidence, control your emotions like a master strategist, read people with precision, and influence every situation to your advantage. Once you master emotional intelligence, you will no longer be controlled by your emotions. You will control them. You will no longer be manipulated by others. You will be the one in control. And you will no longer struggle to get what you want. You will know exactly how to win. The only question is, are you ready to take that power? Chapter 2. Self-awareness, the secret weapon of highly successful people that most ignore. What if I told you that you are not who you think you are? That the version of yourself you believe to be true, the way you think you act, the impression you assume you make, the strengths you believe you have, could be completely different from the way others perceive you? The biggest reason most people struggle in life is not because they lack talent, ambition, or intelligence. It's because they lack self-awareness. They are blind to their own emotions, their own reactions, their own toxic habits. They don't recognize how they come across to others. They don't understand their own weaknesses. And worst of all, they don't even realize what's holding them back. And because they can't see it, they can't fix it. The truth is, most people live on autopilot. They wake up, go through their routines, react emotionally to situations, make impulsive decisions, and repeat the cycle day after day, never stopping to question their own patterns, never analyzing their emotions, never understanding why they do what they do. They assume they know themselves, but in reality, they are strangers to their own minds. And the cost of this ignorance: failure, frustration, and missed opportunities. The people who succeed at the highest levels, whether in business, relationships, or leadership, are not just emotionally intelligent. They are hyper-aware of themselves. They know their strengths and weaknesses better than anyone. They understand their triggers. They recognize how they affect others. They don't just go through life reacting. They move with strategic intent. And that is what gives them the ultimate advantage. Think about it. How can you change your life if you don't even know what's stopping you? How can you improve if you don't even recognize your own flaws? How can you influence others if you don't even understand how they see you? Self-awareness is the foundation of all success, because if you don't know yourself, you can't control yourself. And if you can't control yourself, you will always be controlled by your emotions, by other people, by circumstances. The harsh reality is, most people will go their entire lives never truly knowing themselves. They will repeat the same mistakes, fall into the same toxic patterns, sabotage their own success, and blame everything except the one person responsible: themselves. The 2 types of self-awareness. Which one do you have? Most people think self-awareness is just about knowing your personality. That's only half the equation. True self-awareness comes in 2 forms. 1. Internal self-awareness. This is your ability to recognize your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors in real time. It's knowing what triggers you, what excites you, what stresses you out. It's understanding why you react the way you do, why you make certain decisions, and what truly drives you. Without internal self-awareness, you will always be a slave to your emotions. 2. External self-awareness. This is your ability to understand how others perceive you. It's knowing how your words and actions affect people, how you are viewed in social and professional settings, and whether your self-image aligns with reality. Without external self-awareness, you will misread every situation, assume you're making a good impression when you're not, and lose influence without realizing why. The most successful and influential people master both. They understand their own emotions, but they also see themselves through the eyes of others. They don't just assume they're confident. They confirm that others perceive them as confident. They don't just believe they're great leaders. They analyze how their team actually responds to them. They don't just think they communicate well. They make sure their message is truly being understood. This is what separates high performers from average people: the ability to step outside of yourself and see yourself objectively. The brutal truth: you are probably not as self-aware as you think. Here's the shocking reality. Research shows that only 10 to 15% of people are actually self-aware. That means 85 to 90% of people are walking around completely blind to their own behaviors. They think they are good listeners when they interrupt constantly. They think they are respected when they are actually feared. They think they handle stress well when their body language screams anxiety. They assume they are emotionally in control when they explode over minor inconveniences. And the worst part? They don't even realize it. The reason self-awareness is so rare is because it's uncomfortable. No one likes to admit their flaws. No one wants to face the reality that they might be the reason for their own failures. But the people who rise to the top, the elite, the successful, the influential, embrace the discomfort. They seek out their weaknesses, they analyze their mistakes, and they constantly refine themselves. They understand that the path to power begins with brutal self-honesty. How to instantly increase your self-awareness. If you're serious about mastering emotional intelligence, the first step is to break free from emotional blindness. Here's how. Step 1. Track your emotional triggers. Pay attention to what makes you angry, stressed, or anxious. What situations cause you to lose control? What patterns keep repeating in your life? Write them down. The more you analyze your emotions, the more control you gain over them. Step 2. Ask for brutal feedback. Find people you trust and ask them how they really see you. Not how you hope they see you, but how you actually come across. Be prepared. It might sting, but this feedback is gold. It reveals blind spots you could never see on your own. Step 3. Record yourself. Want a reality check? Record yourself during a conversation, a speech, or a presentation. Watch it back. Notice your tone, your expressions, your body language. Most people think they sound confident until they hear themselves. Most people believe they are engaging until they see how they actually look. The truth is often shocking. Step 4. Identify your self-sabotaging patterns. Do you avoid conflict instead of addressing problems head-on? Do you procrastinate when things get tough? Do you let self-doubt hold you back? Look at your past failures, not to dwell on them, but to recognize the patterns. The mistakes you keep repeating are clues to your blind spots. Step 5. Meditate and reflect daily. The fastest way to sharpen self-awareness is to pause and reflect. Spend 5 minutes each day asking yourself, what emotions did I feel today? How did I react to challenges? Did I handle situations the way I wanted to? The more you reflect, the more in control you become. Self-awareness is the superpower that unlocks everything. If you master self-awareness, you will master everything else. You will gain control over your emotions instead of being controlled by them. You will recognize your weaknesses before they sabotage you. You will understand how others perceive you and adjust accordingly. You will make better decisions, build stronger relationships, and elevate yourself to a level most people will never reach. The harsh reality is, most people will never do this work. They will stay blind to their own flaws. They will repeat the same mistakes. They will wonder why they aren't getting ahead while blaming everything except themselves. But you are different. By developing self-awareness, you are taking the first step toward mastering emotional intelligence, the key to influence, success, and power. And once you unlock that power, nothing will ever be the same. Chapter 3. Self-regulation. How to control your emotions. Stay unbreakable and never let anyone throw you off your game. Imagine this. You're in a high-stakes meeting, and someone challenges you in front of everyone. You feel anger rising, your heart pounding, your hands clenching under the table. Every part of you wants to snap back, to shut them down, to prove them wrong. But you don't. You pause. You stay calm. You lean back instead of forward. You control your voice, your expression, your reaction. And in that moment, you win. Because while the other person is being controlled by their emotions, you are controlling yours. Now imagine a different scenario. You get bad news. A deal falls through. You've worked hard for something, and at the last second, it slips away. Most people would let frustration take over. They'd complain, panic, let their energy crash. But you stay steady. You analyze, you adapt, you pivot. You do not break. You do not crumble. You do not let emotions dictate your actions. And because of that, you recover faster, think clearer, and come back stronger than before. This is the power of self-regulation. The ability to control your emotions is what separates those who are constantly overwhelmed, reactive, and emotionally unstable from those who are unshakable, calculated, and always in control. If emotional intelligence is the key to influence and success, then self-regulation is the master skill that allows you to wield it with precision. Because here's the harsh truth. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how talented you are, or how good your intentions are. If you cannot control your emotions, you will always be controlled by them. And if you are controlled by your emotions, you are weak. Not in the traditional sense, but in the sense that anyone can manipulate you, any situation can throw you off, and any obstacle can break you. Think about the most powerful people in the world, the best leaders, the best negotiators, the most influential individuals. They don't react emotionally. They don't let anger, frustration, or panic make decisions for them. They think 3 steps ahead, while others are still caught up in the heat of the moment. They are always in control, not because they don't feel emotions, but because they control how they respond to them. That's what makes them dangerous. That's what makes them unstoppable. Why most people are slaves to their emotions. Let's get real. Most people are completely ruled by their emotions. They get angry and lash out. They get nervous and hesitate. They feel insulted and become defensive. They feel overwhelmed and shut down. They let their feelings drive their actions, and because of that, they are constantly reacting instead of leading. Instead of choosing their responses, they let situations choose for them. And this is why they struggle. Because when emotions control you, you are not in control of your life. Your emotions are. You've seen it happen. The boss who loses their temper in a meeting, instantly losing respect. The athlete who lets frustration take over, making sloppy mistakes. The entrepreneur who panics in a crisis and makes a bad decision that costs them everything. The person who gets defensive in an argument, destroying relationships in the process. These are all failures of self-regulation, and they are completely avoidable if you know how to control yourself. How self-regulation gives you ultimate power over any situation. The ability to control your emotions isn't just about avoiding outbursts. It's about staying in control when it matters most. It's about knowing how to redirect anger into power, turn stress into focus, use fear as motivation, and never let emotions make you weak. It's about knowing how to stay calm under pressure, keep your mind clear in chaos, and move with precision while others are reacting mindlessly. This is what makes people powerful. Because here's what happens when you master self-regulation. You become immune to manipulation. No one can push your buttons, trigger you, or make you act against your own interests. You gain respect and authority. People follow those who stay calm, collected, and in control, even in the face of conflict. You make better decisions. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond strategically, always choosing the action that serves you best. You recover faster from setbacks. While others waste time complaining or panicking, you are already working on the next move. You become mentally unbreakable. No matter what happens, you stay focused, you stay powerful, and you never let emotions make you weak. How to master the art of self-regulation and stay in control. No matter what. Step 1. Pause before you react. The biggest mistake people make is reacting instantly. The moment they feel something, anger, frustration, fear, they act on it. This is a trap. The fastest way to take control of any situation is to pause before responding. That 1-second delay gives your brain time to override the emotional impulse and choose a better reaction. Step 2. Control your physiology. Your emotions are deeply connected to your body. When you feel stressed, your breathing speeds up. When you're angry, your muscles tense. The secret: reverse the process. Slow your breathing. Relax your body. Unclench your fists. When you control your physiology, you control your emotional state. Step 3. Reframe the situation. Most people see problems as threats. High performers see them as challenges. Instead of thinking, "This is bad," ask yourself, "How can I use this?" Instead of saying, "I can't handle this," say, "This is my chance to prove I can." Your emotions follow your thoughts. Control the way you think, and you control the way you feel. Step 4. Develop a trigger plan. Everyone has emotional triggers, things that instantly make them angry, defensive, or stressed. The secret is to prepare for them. Identify what triggers you the most and decide in advance how you will respond. That way, when it happens, you won't react emotionally. You'll execute a plan. Step 5. Practice emotional detachment. One of the greatest strengths you can develop is the ability to step outside of your emotions and analyze them. Instead of getting caught up in feelings, observe them. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? What is this emotion trying to tell me? Is this reaction actually helping me? The moment you start analyzing your emotions, instead of blindly reacting to them, you take back control. Master self-regulation, master life. The difference between those who thrive in any situation and those who break under pressure comes down to one thing: control. When you can control yourself, you can control outcomes. When you can control outcomes, you can control your future. Most people will never master this skill. They will let emotions rule them. They will react impulsively, destroy relationships, sabotage opportunities, and wonder why they aren't getting ahead. But you are different. You are learning how to master yourself, which means you are on the path to mastering everything else. From this moment forward, you are no longer a slave to your emotions. You are the master of them. You will no longer let situations control you. You will control them. And you will no longer react mindlessly. You will respond strategically, powerfully, and with absolute clarity. Because once you master self-regulation, you become unstoppable. Chapter 4. Motivation: How to Fuel Yourself with Relentless Drive, Unstoppable Energy, and Never Lose Momentum. There's a reason some people wake up every day on fire, ready to conquer their goals, while others hit snooze, drag themselves through life, and constantly feel stuck. There's a reason some people stay committed no matter what, through obstacles, failures, and setbacks, while others crumble the moment things get hard. The difference isn't talent. It isn't intelligence. It isn't luck. It's motivation. But not the kind of shallow, temporary motivation that comes from hype videos and feel-good speeches. No. What separates the unstoppable from the average is deep, intrinsic motivation, the kind that never fades, never weakens, and never depends on external factors. The kind of motivation that keeps you moving forward even when everything is against you. Most people believe motivation is about feeling inspired, about waiting for the right moment, about getting excited to take action. That is why most people fail, because motivation isn't something you wait for. It isn't something that randomly shows up. It's something you create, something you control, something you fuel from within, every single day without exception. The harsh truth is, the reason most people never reach their full potential isn't because they lack ability, but because they lack the discipline to generate their own motivation. They only take action when they feel like it. They only stay committed when things are easy. The moment challenges arise, their motivation fades, and they fall back into comfort. And comfort is where dreams go to die. If you want to be the kind of person who stays driven no matter what, if you want to be the kind of person who never quits, never slows down, and never loses momentum, you need to understand what truly fuels motivation. You need to know how to build a mindset so powerful that nothing, not doubt, not failure, not pain, not exhaustion, can break you. Because the truth is, those who succeed at the highest level are not the most gifted. They are simply the ones who refuse to stop. And that refusal isn't based on fleeting emotions. It's based on a system that guarantees motivation every single day. The motivation myth: why most people lose steam and give up. Most people believe motivation is something that just happens. They think it's about feeling inspired or being in the right mindset. This is the biggest lie that keeps people stuck, because the truth is, motivation is a science. It follows patterns. It is built through habits. And if you don't understand how to control it, you will spend your life in a cycle of temporary bursts of energy, followed by long periods of stagnation. You will start projects with excitement and never finish them. You will set goals and abandon them the moment they feel inconvenient. You will dream of success, but never develop the consistency required to achieve it. The biggest reason people lose motivation is they rely on emotions instead of systems. They think motivation is about feeling ready. But here's the truth. You will never always feel ready. You will have days when you are exhausted. You will have moments where doubt creeps in. You will face obstacles that make you question everything. And if your motivation is based on emotions, you will give up. Because emotions change, systems don't. And that's why the world's most successful people don't rely on feeling motivated. They rely on habits, routines, and psychological triggers that create motivation on demand, regardless of how they feel. The 3 types of motivation. Which one drives you? Motivation comes in 3 forms. Most people rely on the weakest type. The elite, they master all 3. 1. External motivation. This is motivation based on rewards and consequences. It's driven by money, status, recognition, or fear of failure. It works, but only in the short term. Because once the reward is gone, so is the motivation. This is why people who only chase money often lose passion. They were never internally driven. 2. Intrinsic motivation. This is motivation fueled by passion, purpose, and deep personal reasons. It's what makes people work on their craft even when no one is watching. It's what makes the best athletes train harder than everyone else. Not because they have to, but because they want to. This is a stronger form of motivation, but it still fluctuates if not supported by the 3rd and most powerful type. 3. Identity-based motivation. This is the highest level of motivation. It's not based on rewards. It's not based on inspiration. It's based on who you are. It's when success is no longer a goal. It's an expectation. It's when hard work is no longer a choice. It's an identity. This is why some people don't quit, no matter what, because they don't see success as an option. They see it as a requirement. How to build relentless, never-ending motivation. If you want to become the kind of person who never runs out of motivation, you need to rewire your mind to generate motivation automatically. Here's how. Build systems, not excuses. The reason you brush your teeth every day isn't because you feel like it. It's because it's a habit. Apply the same logic to your goals. Don't rely on motivation. Rely on systems. Schedule your progress. Make it non-negotiable. Find your why and burn it into your mind. Weak goals create weak motivation. If your reason for success isn't strong enough, you will quit. Dig deeper. Why do you really want this? What's the consequence of failure? Make it emotional. Make it personal. Make it powerful. Use the 5-minute rule. The hardest part of any task is starting. When you don't feel motivated, tell yourself, I'll just do 5 minutes. More often than not, momentum kicks in and you keep going. Starting is what triggers motivation, not the other way around. Control your environment. If your surroundings drain you, your motivation will die. Surround yourself with people who push you. Remove distractions. Optimize your space for focus. Motivation isn't just in your head, it's in your environment. Visualize the finish line. Every time you feel stuck, mentally fast forward to the moment you achieve your goal. Imagine how it feels. Imagine the pride, the relief, the success. Your brain is wired to chase what it clearly sees. Make your vision so real that quitting feels like losing. Master discipline, not just motivation. The ultimate truth? Motivation fades, but discipline lasts forever. The people who succeed don't stay motivated all the time. They just show up no matter what. Train yourself to take action whether you feel like it or not. That is the secret. When you control motivation, you control your future. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's the ability to stay motivated when others stop. Most people will never master this. They will stay in cycles of inconsistency. They will wait for motivation instead of creating it. They will give up the moment things get difficult, but not you. You now understand how motivation really works. You know how to control it. You know how to build a system that guarantees you never lose momentum. And because of that, you are on the path to becoming unstoppable. From this moment forward, you are no longer at the mercy of emotions. You create your own motivation. You fuel your own fire. and you never stop moving forward, no matter what. Chapter 5. Empathy. The secret weapon to influence, connect, and win people. Over. There's a reason some people walk into a room and instantly command attention, while others struggle to be heard. There's a reason some leaders inspire fierce loyalty, while others can't get their team to follow them. There's a reason some people always seem to get what they want, whether in business, relationships, or negotiations, while others constantly face resistance. It all comes down to one thing: empathy. Most people think of empathy as being soft, as being overly emotional, as something that's only useful for therapists and counselors. That's why most people struggle to connect, to lead, to persuade. Because in reality, empathy is the most powerful tool in the world for influence, dominance, and success. The ability to understand what people feel, what they fear, what they desire, that is what gives you leverage over any situation. If you can master empathy, you can control conversations, predict behavior, and get inside people's heads in ways that will make you unstoppable. Think about the greatest leaders in history, the most persuasive speakers, the best negotiators, the people who can walk into any room, any deal, any conflict, and come out victorious. They don't win because they are the loudest, the smartest, or the most aggressive. They win because they understand people on a deeper level. They know how to read emotions, how to anticipate reactions, how to make people feel understood. And when you make someone feel understood, you can influence them to do almost anything. This is why empathy is not just a feel-good concept. It is the ultimate psychological advantage. Because when you truly understand what drives people, their fears, their desires, their insecurities, you control the outcome. And the best part? Most people are completely blind to this. They don't understand themselves, let alone others. But after this chapter, you will be different. You will know how to read people like an open book, how to use empathy as a weapon of influence, and how to make people feel so understood that they will want to follow, support, and fight for you, without even realizing why. Why most people fail at empathy and lose power because of it. Most people don't actually listen when others speak. They wait for their turn to talk. They think about what they'll say next, instead of truly hearing what the other person is saying. This is why they fail at influence. Because real influence doesn't come from talking. It comes from making people feel heard. The fastest way to gain power over someone is to make them feel deeply understood. And the way to do that is through high-level empathy. But here's the problem. Most people are too self-absorbed to develop real empathy. They are too caught up in their own emotions, their own problems, their own desires. They never stop to ask, what does this person truly need? What are they afraid of? What are they hoping for? They don't see the invisible signals people are constantly giving off. The way body language reveals discomfort, the way tone of voice reveals doubt, the way hesitation reveals insecurity. And because of that, they miss the opportunity to control the conversation. The truth is, every single person you meet is broadcasting their emotions, fears, and desires at all times. If you know how to read those signals, you can control any interaction. But if you ignore them, you will always be operating at a disadvantage. How empathy gives you ultimate control over any situation. When you master empathy, you unlock a level of influence that most people will never understand. Because empathy does three things that instantly give you the upper hand in any conversation, negotiation, or conflict. It makes people trust you faster than anything else. When someone feels understood, they automatically lower their defenses. They become more open, more willing to listen, more willing to follow. Trust is the foundation of influence, and empathy builds trust instantly. It allows you to anticipate people's reactions before they even happen. When you understand someone's emotions, you can predict their next move. You can see hesitation before they voice it, see doubt before they express it, See fear before they act on it. This gives you control over the situation before they even realize what's happening. It makes people want to help you, support you, and say yes to you. If you can make someone feel truly understood, they will go out of their way to help you, even when it's not in their best interest. This is why top salespeople, master negotiators, and legendary leaders always win. They don't force people to agree with them. They make people want to agree with them. The 3 levels of empathy. Most people never get past level 1. There are 3 levels of empathy, but only the elite master all 3. Most people never go beyond level 1, which is why they struggle to connect and influence. 1. Surface level empathy, the lowest level. This is basic understanding. You listen to someone's words, but you don't go deeper. Most people stop here. They hear, but they don't truly understand. 2. Emotional empathy, the higher level. This is when you don't just hear what someone says. You feel what they feel. You recognize their emotions, understand their perspective, and reflect it back to them in a way that makes them feel seen. This is where real influence begins. 3. Tactical empathy, the highest level. This is when you use empathy as a strategic tool. You don't just understand emotions. You use that understanding to guide the conversation, to lead people toward the outcome you want, and to control the interaction in a way that feels completely natural to them. This is what makes great leaders, negotiators, and influencers unstoppable. How to develop high-level empathy and become impossible to ignore. If you want to master empathy and use it as a weapon of influence, you need to practice these skills until they become second nature. Stop talking, start listening. The less you speak, the more people reveal. The secret to reading people is silence. Let them talk. Pay attention to their words, their tone, their body language. People tell you everything if you actually listen. Ask deep questions. Don't settle for surface-level conversations. Go deeper. Ask people about their fears, their dreams, their challenges. Make them feel safe to open up. The more they talk, the more you learn. Mirror their emotions. When someone is excited, match their energy. When they're upset, slow down and speak calmly. People are drawn to those who reflect their emotions back to them. Watch body language. Words lie. Body language doesn't. Pay attention to micro-expressions, to nervous gestures, to changes in posture. The truth is always in the details. Make them feel understood. The most powerful phrase you can say is, "I get it. That makes sense." When people feel understood, they trust you. When they trust you, you can lead them anywhere. Master empathy, master influence, master life. The world is run by those who understand people, those who can read emotions, anticipate reactions, and guide conversations, those who make people feel understood, respected, and valued. Because once you make someone feel heard, you have already won. Most people will never master this. They will struggle to connect, to lead, to persuade. But not you. You are now on a different level. You understand that empathy is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength. And with that strength, you can influence anyone, anywhere, at any time. Chapter 6. Social Skills. Mastering charisma, communication, and influence to dominate every interaction. Every single day, whether you realize it or not, you are engaged in a battle for influence. Every conversation, every handshake, every interaction is an opportunity to either build power or lose it. The way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you make people feel, all of it determines whether people listen to you, respect you, and follow you, or whether they dismiss you, ignore you, and forget about you the moment you walk away. Some people can walk into any room, any meeting, any social situation, and immediately command attention. Their presence is magnetic. Their words have weight. They don't beg for respect. They exude it. They don't force connections. People are naturally drawn to them. This is the power of social intelligence. It's not about being the loudest person in the room. It's not about trying to impress people with flashy words. It's about mastering the science of human connection, knowing exactly how to communicate, how to read people, and how to make every interaction work in your favor. The truth is, people are constantly judging you. Within seconds, they decide whether you are confident or insecure, whether you are powerful or weak, whether you are someone worth listening to or someone they can ignore. And once that judgment is made, it's incredibly difficult to change. This is why social intelligence is one of the most critical skills you will ever develop. If you don't understand how to command respect, how to make people trust you, how to leave a lasting impression, you will always struggle to get ahead, no matter how talented you are. But if you master these skills, you will have the ability to control any room, lead any group, and influence anyone without them even realizing it. Why most people fail at social interactions and how to avoid these deadly mistakes. Most people believe that being socially skilled means talking a lot, telling stories, or trying to impress people. This is why they fail. The reality is, the most charismatic, persuasive, and influential people in the world are not the ones who talk the most. They are the ones who listen the most. They are the ones who understand how to make others feel important, how to guide conversations without dominating them, how to create a sense of connection so strong that people walk away thinking, there's something different about that person. I want to be around them more. But here's the problem. Most people are completely unaware of how they come across. They don't realize that their body language is weak, that their tone of voice lacks conviction, that their words make them seem insecure. They don't realize that the way they carry themselves determines whether people respect them or dismiss them. And because of this, they struggle to build connections, to persuade, to lead. The good news? Social intelligence is a skill, not a talent. And like any skill, it can be mastered. If you know the right techniques, if you practice the right habits, if you refine the way you present yourself, you can transform the way people perceive you. And in turn, transform your level of influence in every area of life. The 3 core elements of social mastery. There are 3 key components to mastering social intelligence. If you understand and apply these 3 principles, you will immediately stand out from 99% of people. 1. Charisma. The ability to captivate and draw people in. Charisma isn't about looks or status. It's about energy. Confident, controlled, and compelling energy. It's the way you make people feel when they're around you. 2. Communication. The ability to express ideas powerfully and clearly. Great communicators don't just speak well, they speak with purpose. They know how to command attention, tell stories, and use words that influence and persuade. 3. Influence. The ability to guide and lead people in the direction you want. Influence isn't about forcing people. It's about making them want to follow you. The most influential people in the world don't demand power. They earn it through presence, authority, and trust. How to become impossible to ignore. The 7 social commandments. If you want to walk into any room and immediately be seen as confident, charismatic, and influential, follow these 7 rules religiously. Commandment number 1. Always lead with confidence. Confidence is the foundation of all social influence. If you don't believe in yourself, neither will anyone else. Speak with certainty, move with purpose, and never second-guess your presence. Commandment number 2. Master body language. Most communication is nonverbal. Strong posture, steady eye contact, and controlled movements signal confidence and authority. Weak body language makes you look insecure, even if your words are strong. Commandment number 3, be interested, not interesting. The secret to making people like you? Stop trying to impress them and start making them feel important. Ask great questions. Listen actively. Make them feel like they matter. People don't remember what you say. They remember how you make them feel. Commandment number 4, speak less, say more. Powerful people don't ramble. They don't over-explain. They don't seek validation. They say what they mean, and they say it with impact. Every word should have weight. Commandment number 5, control the frame. The person who controls the frame controls the conversation. If you react emotionally, if you let people dictate your mood, if you seek approval, you lose. Stay centered. Stay composed. Make people adjust to you, not the other way around. Commandment number 6, become a master storyteller. People don't remember facts. They remember stories. The greatest speakers, leaders, and influencers in history use storytelling to inspire, persuade, and connect. Learn how to tell stories that move people. Commandment number 7, make people feel good about themselves. The most charismatic people in the world all have one thing in common. They make others feel amazing. If you can make people feel valued, respected, and energized in your presence, they will always want to be around you, and they will always respect your influence. Social mastery equals life mastery. Your ability to connect with people, to lead them, to influence them. It determines your success in every area of life. Business, relationships, leadership. Everything comes down to how well you can navigate human interactions. If you can master social intelligence, you can master life. Most people will never do this. They will continue to struggle to command respect. They will continue to be ignored, dismissed, or forgotten. But not you. You now understand what separates the influential from the invisible. You know what it takes to walk into any room and own it. From this moment forward, you will never be overlooked again. You will never be ignored again. You will carry yourself with presence, you will speak with impact, and you will connect with people in ways that leave a lasting impression. You will be impossible to forget, because now you don't just participate in conversations, you control them. You don't just communicate, you captivate. And that is what will set you apart from everyone else. Chapter 7, Emotional Resilience. How to stay unshakable under pressure and master emotional control. There is one undeniable truth in life. Pressure is inevitable. Stress, setbacks, betrayal, failure. These things don't just happen to the weak, the unprepared, or the unlucky. They happen to everyone. The difference between those who rise and those who crumble isn't intelligence, talent, or luck. It's emotional resilience. Some people break the moment things get tough. They let failure define them. They let criticism crush them. They let stress control them. They react instead of respond. And because of this, they are constantly at the mercy of their emotions, unable to lead, unable to influence, unable to achieve what they truly want. But then, there are those who are unshakable. They can walk through fire without flinching. They can take hit after hit and still move forward. They can face rejection, failure, and chaos, and yet they remain in control. These are the people who dominate life, because when you master emotional resilience, you become unstoppable. You don't just survive pressure, you thrive under it. You don't just handle adversity, you use it as fuel. You don't just control your emotions, you make them work for you, not against you. This is not about being numb. It's not about pretending things don't affect you. It's about controlling how you respond. Because the moment you stop reacting emotionally, the moment you refuse to let external events dictate your internal state, you become more powerful than anyone around you. And that is when you truly take control of your life. Why most people crumble under pressure, and how to make sure you never do. Most people don't realize that emotional resilience is not something you're born with. It's something you train. And the reason most people fail under pressure is because they've never trained themselves to handle it. They've spent their entire lives reacting to stress, reacting to failure, reacting to what people say, reacting to every single thing that happens to them. They let life dictate how they feel instead of taking control of their own emotions. The truth is, pressure doesn't break people. Lack of preparation does. When you haven't built the mindset, the habits, and the emotional strength to handle stress, every setback feels like the end of the world. But when you train yourself to thrive under pressure, no situation can shake you. Here's what separates the emotionally resilient from the emotionally fragile. Weak people let emotions dictate their decisions. Resilient people control their emotions and make calculated moves. Weak people avoid discomfort. Resilient people run toward it because they know discomfort is the path to growth. Weak people break when things don't go their way. Resilient people adapt, adjust, and keep going, no matter what. The 5 laws of emotional resilience. How to become unshakable. If you want to be the kind of person who thrives under pressure, who remains calm and powerful no matter what happens, you must live by these 5 laws. Law 1. Control your state or be controlled by it. Your emotions are either a weapon or a weakness. If you can't control them, they will control you. If you let stress, anger, or fear take over, you become reckless, reactive, and weak. But if you train yourself to control your emotional state, you become impossible to rattle. No matter what happens, failure, rejection, loss, you remain in control. You think clearly. You make strategic decisions. You dominate the situation instead of letting it dominate you. 2. Detach from the opinions of others. The moment you care too much about what others think, you give away your power. You start hesitating, overthinking, and second-guessing yourself. You start making decisions based on approval rather than what's best for you. And that is a losing game. Emotionally resilient people don't chase validation. They focus on what's right, not on what's popular. And because of that, they move faster, make bolder decisions, and achieve more than anyone who lives for approval. Law 3. Turn pain into power. Most people let pain weaken them. They see failure as a reason to quit. They see setbacks as a sign to stop. But the strongest people in the world use pain as fuel. Every failure makes them smarter. Every setback makes them tougher. Every loss makes them hungrier. They don't break. They build. This is why some people bounce back stronger while others crumble. Pain is either your excuse or your greatest weapon. The choice is yours. Law 4. Build a mind untouchable by stress. Stress isn't the enemy. Your reaction to it is. When most people feel stressed, they panic. They shut down. They make emotional decisions that hurt them in the long run. But resilient people reframe stress. They see it as a challenge, a test, an opportunity to sharpen their edge. Instead of fearing stress, they use it to become sharper, smarter, and stronger. Law 5. Never break character under pressure. The strongest people in the world never show weakness under pressure. They don't react emotionally. They don't lose control. They maintain the same energy, the same confidence, the same composure, no matter what. Why? Because the moment you lose control of yourself, you lose control of the situation. Never let pressure make you act out of character. Stay centered. Stay calculated. Stay in control. Because the one who stays in control wins. How to train your mind to be unshakable, starting now. Becoming emotionally resilient isn't about willpower. It's about training. Just like building physical strength, mental strength is built through consistent practice. If you want to become the kind of person who remains unshaken under pressure, You must train these habits daily. Practice emotional detachment. When something stresses you out, step back and ask, is this worth my energy? Most of the time, the answer is no. Learn to let go. Develop a rock-solid morning routine. How you start your day dictates how you handle stress. Win the morning, and you'll win the day. Expose yourself to controlled discomfort. Challenge yourself daily. Push past your limits. The more you train yourself to handle pressure, the stronger you become. Use pressure as a trigger for focus. Instead of letting stress make you emotional, train yourself to get calmer, sharper, and more focused when under pressure. Eliminate emotional energy leaks. Stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. Pointless arguments, drama, distractions. Save your energy for what actually moves you forward. Once you master resilience, you master life. Most people will never train themselves to be resilient. They will continue to be reactive, emotional, and weak under pressure, but not you. You now understand that emotional resilience is a choice, and you are choosing to be unshakable. From this moment forward, nothing will break you. No amount of stress, no amount of failure, no amount of criticism will stop you. You will be calm when others panic. You will be strong when others fold. You will be in control when others lose their minds, because now you are no longer a victim of emotions. You are the master of them, and that is what makes you unstoppable. Chapter 8: The Power of Self-Awareness. Unlocking your hidden potential and mastering your mind. Most people live their entire lives as strangers to themselves. They think they know who they are, but in reality, they are operating on autopilot, driven by subconscious patterns they don't even recognize. They react to situations based on past programming, old wounds, and hidden fears that they refuse to confront. And because they lack true self-awareness, they remain stuck, trapped in cycles of frustration, self-doubt, and wasted potential. But those who master self-awareness, they are the ones who break free. They are the ones who see reality clearly, both within themselves and in the world around them. They are the ones who take complete control over their thoughts, emotions, and actions, allowing them to move through life with precision, confidence, and an unstoppable drive towards success. True self-awareness is the foundation of all growth, power, and influence. Without it, you are blind. You make decisions based on surface-level emotions rather than deep clarity. You repeat the same mistakes because you don't understand what's truly driving your behavior. You sabotage yourself without realizing it. But when you develop self-awareness, everything changes. You begin to see the root causes of your struggles. You identify the unconscious patterns that have been holding you back. You recognize the hidden fears that control your decisions. And once you bring these things to the surface, they lose their power over you. You take back control. You start making conscious, deliberate choices instead of being a prisoner to old habits. And that is when you unlock your full potential. The truth is, most people avoid self-awareness because it's uncomfortable. Looking deeply into yourself means confronting the things you don't want to see, your weaknesses, your flaws, your insecurities. But if you don't face them, they will continue to control you. If you don't take an honest look at who you are, you will never become who you're meant to be. Because self-awareness is not just about knowing yourself, it's about mastering yourself. And once you master yourself, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. The 3 types of self-awareness that determine your success or failure. Self-awareness isn't just one thing. It's a multi-layered skill. If you want to truly understand yourself and unlock your highest potential, you need to develop all 3 levels of self-awareness. 1. Internal self-awareness. Understanding your own mind. This is your ability to recognize your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and patterns. Without this, you are a slave to your subconscious programming. 2. External self-awareness. understanding how others see you. Most people have no idea how they come across. They don't realize how their words, energy, and presence affect others. But the most influential people? They are hyper-aware of the impact they have on those around them. 3. Situational self-awareness, understanding the world around you. This is the ability to see the bigger picture, to read the energy of a room, to understand the hidden dynamics of any situation. This is what allows you to navigate life with precision, influence, and power. If you lack any of these, you will always struggle. If you don't understand your own mind, you will never be in control of yourself. If you don't understand how others perceive you, you will constantly miscommunicate and lose influence. If you don't understand the world around you, you will always be playing the wrong game. But when you develop all three, you become untouchable. How to develop unbreakable self-awareness and never be blind to yourself again. If you want to become someone who is deeply aware, completely in control, and capable of navigating any situation with precision, you must train your mind to see clearly. Here's how. Question. Everything you think you know about yourself. Most of your beliefs about yourself were shaped by past experiences, childhood conditioning, and societal influence. But are they true? Challenge them. Question them. Redefine yourself based on reality, not outdated programming. Pay attention to your emotional reactions. Every time you get triggered, angry, or defensive, it's a sign that there's something deeper you need to examine. Instead of reacting, ask yourself, why did this affect me so much? What fear or insecurity is this touching? Your emotions are a map. Use them to uncover your blind spots. Record your thoughts and patterns. Daily. Most people repeat the same emotional cycles over and over again without even realizing it. But if you start tracking your thoughts, moods, and behaviors, you will start to see the patterns that have been running your life. And once you see them, you can break them. Get brutally honest feedback from others. You cannot see yourself fully on your own. If you want to know how you truly come across, you need feedback. Ask people you trust. What's one thing about me that I don't see? The truth might stink, but it will set you free. Meditate and develop awareness of your thoughts. Most people are completely unaware of the constant noise in their own minds. Meditation isn't just about relaxation. It's about observing your thoughts without attachment, so you can separate yourself from them and take control. Study human nature like a scientist. Self-awareness isn't just about knowing yourself. It's about understanding people in general. The more you study psychology, social dynamics, and human behavior, the more clearly you will see yourself and others. The moment you become self-aware, you become powerful. Most people will never do this work. They will continue to live in denial, blind to their own weaknesses, repeating the same mistakes, running on autopilot without even realizing it. But not you. You now understand that self-awareness is the foundation of all power. And because of that, you will never be blind to yourself again. From this moment forward, you will see yourself clearly. You will recognize your patterns. You will break the cycles that have been holding you back. You will be in complete control of your mind, your emotions, and your actions. And because of that, you will rise above everyone who is still operating in the dark. When you walk into a room, you will understand exactly how you are perceived. When you make a decision, you will know exactly why you are making it. When you feel an emotion, you will be fully aware of where it comes from and how to use it. You will no longer be controlled by unconscious fears, outdated beliefs, or false narratives, because now you are in control. This is the power of self-awareness, and once you have it, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Chapter 9. Mastering Influence: How to Control Perceptions and Persuade Anyone. Influence is the most powerful force in the world. It shapes careers, dictates success, and determines who rises to the top and who stays invisible. Some people struggle their entire lives, working hard but never getting ahead, while others move through the world with ease, opening doors, gaining respect, and making things happen with minimal effort. What separates these two types of people? Influence. Those who master influence control how they are perceived, shape the decisions of others, and command attention wherever they go. They don't force people to listen. People want to listen to them. They don't push to be recognized. People naturally recognize their power. And once you learn how to master influence, you will never be ignored again. The brutal truth is that most people have no idea how influence works. They think being right is enough to persuade people. They believe that working hard will get them noticed. They assume that if they just speak louder, others will listen. But none of that creates real influence. Influence is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's not about arguing your way to victory. It's about controlling perception. The way people see you determines how they treat you. If you come across as weak, hesitant, or desperate, people will dismiss you. If you command presence, radiate certainty, and communicate powerfully, people will be drawn to you. Influence isn't something you ask for. It's something you project. And when you do it right, people will follow you without question. Think about the most persuasive, charismatic, and powerful people in history. They weren't necessarily the most intelligent or the most talented, but they understood one thing better than anyone else: how to control attention, shape emotions, and lead people's thoughts without them even realizing it. The greatest leaders, negotiators, and power players don't just communicate. They create an experience. They make people feel something. They shape narratives, frame conversations, and position themselves as the only logical choice. And that is why they win. The 3 laws of influence, how to get people to follow your lead. Influence isn't magic. It's a science. And if you understand how it works, you can persuade anyone without manipulation, without force, and without begging for attention. These are the 3 unbreakable laws of influence that determine whether people respect, trust, and follow you, or ignore, dismiss, and overlook you. Law 1. Control perception, or someone else will. Perception is everything. It doesn't matter who you think you are. It only matters how people see you. If you appear weak, people will treat you as weak. If you appear uncertain, people will doubt you. If you look desperate, people will avoid you. But when you project confidence, authority, and value, people will believe in you before you even say a word. Your influence begins the moment someone lays eyes on you. If you don't actively control how you are perceived, you are leaving your power in the hands of others. Every interaction, every word, every movement either strengthens or weakens your presence. Those who master influence engineer their perception deliberately. Law 2. Control the frame, and you control the outcome. The person who controls the frame controls the conversation. Most people walk into situations reacting to the energy around them, letting others dictate the terms of engagement. Influential people do the opposite. They set the tone. They define the conversation. They create the emotional atmosphere and lead others into it. If you control the frame, you don't need to argue, plead, or convince. People naturally align with you. This is how top negotiators, leaders, and persuaders win without force. 3. Control emotions and logic becomes irrelevant. Most people try to influence others with facts, arguments, and logical reasoning. But logic doesn't drive decisions. Emotions do. People follow those who make them feel something: safety, excitement, confidence, trust. The most influential people don't just transfer information, they transfer emotion. If you can control how someone feels, you can control what they do. The key to influence is not just what you say, but how you make people feel when you say it. The 5 power moves of master influencers. If you want to become someone who commands attention, shapes perception, and persuades effortlessly, you need to master these 5 power moves of influence. The art of silence. Weak people try to fill every silence. Influential people use silence as a weapon. A well-placed pause creates tension, forces people to lean in, and makes your words carry more weight. The power of certainty. The most persuasive person in the room is not the one with the best argument. It's the one who appears most certain. When you speak, remove doubt from your voice. When you move, do it with purpose. Confidence overrides logic. The law of positioning. People don't follow the person who wants power. They follow the person who already acts like they have it. Position yourself as the authority before you ever make a request. The frame dominance technique. When challenged, don't engage in defensive arguments. Instead, reframe the conversation on your terms. Change the topic, redirect attention, and shift the energy in your favor. The rule of emotional mirroring. People trust those who reflect their own emotions. If you want someone to feel understood, match their energy, mirror their tone, and subtly reflect their body language. This creates an instant subconscious connection. How to become an irresistible force of influence. Most people will never master influence. They will continue talking too much, arguing with no impact, and struggling to get people to listen. They will beg for respect instead of commanding it. They will explain instead of persuade. They will push instead of pull. But you now understand the game. You now realize that influence isn't about forcing people to listen. It's about becoming someone people want to follow. From this moment forward, you will no longer be ignored. You will no longer be talked over, dismissed, or overlooked. You will walk into any room with presence. You will control how people perceive you. You will dictate the tone of conversations. You will lead without needing permission, because now you are in control. Influence is power, and now that power belongs to you. Chapter 10. The Psychology of Control: How to Shape Reality and Bend the World to Your Will. Control is the ultimate currency of power. Everything in life, success, influence, respect, even love, boils down to one question. Who is in control? Look at the world around you. The people at the top, the ones who dictate how things play out, the ones who move effortlessly through life while others struggle. They are the ones who understand control. They don't let circumstances dictate their reality. They don't react emotionally to situations. They create the situations. They bend the environment to their will. They shape how others see them, how conversations unfold, how decisions are made, and how events play out. They are always in control, not because they are lucky, not because they are smarter than anyone else, but because they understand the deep psychology of control. And once you understand it too, the world will no longer happen to you. You will make it happen for you. Most people live in a reactive state. They wake up and immediately start responding to the world around them. They react to their emotions. They react to other people's words. They react to situations outside their control. And in doing so, they give up all their power. They are like puppets, being pulled in every direction by forces they don't even understand. They think they are making choices, but in reality, they are being controlled. But the people who dominate in life, the ones who command attention, shape their destiny, and bend reality to their will, they don't react. They dictate. They decide how they will think, feel, and act, regardless of the world around them. They don't let emotions control them. They control emotions. They don't let circumstances define them. They define circumstances. They don't just respond to reality. They shape reality. The key to ultimate control is simple. Understand the hidden forces that drive human behavior and use them before they use you. Once you master the psychology of control, you will never be a pawn again. You will control how others perceive you, how they respond to you, and even how they think. You will take command of your own mind, emotions, and actions with iron discipline. You will dictate the flow of conversations, the outcome of situations, and the direction of your life. And once you have control, nothing can stop you. The 3 levels of control that separate leaders from followers' control is not a single skill. It is a system of power. There are 3 levels of control, and if you want to dominate in any area of life, you must master all 3. Most people never reach even the first level, but those who do, they become unstoppable. 1. Control over yourself, the foundation of power. If you cannot control yourself, you cannot control anything. Most people are slaves to their own minds. They are ruled by their emotions, their impulses, their fears, and their past conditioning. They react instead of respond. They get easily offended, easily distracted, and easily thrown off course. But those who master self-control, they are unshakable. They decide how they will think, feel, and act, no matter what is happening around them. Their emotions serve them, not the other way around. They don't chase validation, approval, or comfort. They operate with discipline, precision, and purpose. 2. Control over others, the art of influence and dominance. The people who hold real power in the world are not the ones who demand authority. They are the ones who command it effortlessly. They control how they are perceived, how others respond to them, and how situations unfold. They don't argue. They lead. They don't force people to follow them. People naturally align with them. They understand how to frame conversations, direct attention, and trigger emotions to get the outcome they want, without people even realizing it. 3. Control over reality, the ultimate power. The highest level of control is not just influencing people. It is shaping the entire environment. This is the level where you create reality itself. You dictate how things will play out. You set the tone of every situation. You make the rules instead of following them. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstances. You become the force that moves everything. How to develop unbreakable control over yourself, others, and reality. If you want to rise above the masses and gain the kind of control that separates the powerful from the powerless, you must master the fundamental principles of control. These are the principles that govern power in every situation, whether in business, relationships, social dynamics, or personal success. Ignore them, and you will always be controlled. Master them, and you will control everything. Eliminate emotional reactivity. Stay cold, calm, and in command. Emotions are the number 1 thing that destroys control. The moment you react emotionally, you lose. Every powerful person in history mastered one thing first: emotional detachment. Never let anger, fear, or frustration dictate your actions. Stay cold. Stay calm. Stay in command. Use frame control to dominate every interaction. Whoever controls the frame controls the conversation. The frame is the unspoken perspective that dictates how a situation is viewed. If you allow others to set the frame, you will always be on the defensive, always control the frame, and you will always control the outcome. Control perception to command respect. People treat you based on how they perceive you. If you appear weak, they will treat you as weak. If you project power, they will respect you before you even say a word. Shape how people see you, and you will shape how they treat you. Dictate the flow of conversations with strategic silence. The most powerful people say the least. They don't rush to fill silences. They let their presence speak for them. Silence creates tension. Tension creates power. Never speak just to fill space. Speak only to direct and control. Make decisions quickly and decisively. Never hesitate. People follow those who move with certainty. The second you hesitate, you lose control. Make decisions fast. Act with purpose. The world rewards those who move first and think later. Never explain yourself. Power is in mystery. The more you explain, the more power you lose. Weak people over-explain and justify themselves. Powerful people let their actions speak for them. Never explain. State. Never ask. Command. Never justify. Own. The moment you take control, the world changes for you. Most people spend their lives reacting to the world instead of shaping it. They let their emotions control them. They let other people dictate how they think and feel. They let circumstances determine their fate. But now, you are no longer one of them. You now understand that control is the foundation of all power. You will no longer be pushed, manipulated, or led by forces outside of you. From this moment forward, you take command. You control your emotions. You control your thoughts. You control your actions. You dictate how people see you, how they respond to you, and how situations unfold. You no longer wait for permission. You move first. You lead with certainty. You set the tone. You take what you want, not by force, but by control. And because of that, you will never be controlled again. Chapter 11. Emotional Mastery. The hidden key to unbreakable power. Control over others means nothing if you cannot first control yourself. And at the core of self-control lies emotional mastery. This is what separates those who are easily broken from those who are unshakable. It is the difference between being manipulated and being the one who dictates the rules of the game. The weak are prisoners of their emotions, reacting impulsively, easily swayed by fear, anger, or insecurity. But those who understand the hidden mechanics of emotional mastery, they become untouchable. They do not flinch under pressure. They do not lash out when provoked. They do not let circumstances dictate their mood or their decisions. Instead, they make emotions work for them. They turn anxiety into power. They convert anger into precise, strategic action. They transform disappointment into motivation. And because of that, they become forces that cannot be stopped. Most people operate on emotional autopilot. They believe their emotions are something that just happens to them, something they have no control over. One moment they are confident, the next, self-doubt creeps in and they shrink. One moment they feel powerful, the next, someone's words trigger insecurity and they crumble. They let fear dictate their choices. Let anger destroy their relationships. Let sadness drain their energy. But emotions are not meant to control you. They are meant to be controlled. The ones who rise to the top in any area, whether in business, leadership, personal relationships, or even in high-stakes negotiations, are those who dictate their own emotional state instead of being dictated by it. And once you master this, you will no longer be at the mercy of feelings. You will weaponize them to drive you forward. The emotional blueprint of high-status individuals. Every powerful person you admire, every leader, every high-status figure, every dominant force in any industry, they all have one thing in common. They have complete emotional discipline. They do not make decisions based on fleeting feelings. They do not allow external circumstances to shake them. They do not give in to self-doubt, hesitation, or fear. Their emotions do not control them. They control their emotions. This is not because they don't feel emotions. They do, but they process them differently. Instead of reacting impulsively, they channel emotions into focused energy. Instead of losing control, they remain calculating, strategic, and deliberate. If someone insults them, they do not lash out. They absorb it, store it, and use it later to fuel their power. If they feel fear, they do not retreat. They lean into it and use it to sharpen their senses. If they experience disappointment, they do not spiral into self-pity. They redirect it into action. This is the emotional blueprint of high-status individuals. They are never seen out of control. They do not yell, beg, or panic. They do not allow others to push their emotional buttons. Instead, they remain unreadable, unpredictable, and always in command. The 5 deadly emotional traps that destroy control. There are 5 emotional traps that keep people weak, powerless, and easily manipulated. If you fall into these traps, you will always be controlled by forces outside of you. But if you learn to break free, you will enter a state of power that most people will never experience. Trap number 1. Needing external validation. Most people are slaves to the opinions of others. Their confidence is based on whether people approve of them. If they receive praise, they feel powerful. If they receive criticism, they crumble. This is weakness. True emotional mastery comes when you no longer need anyone else to validate your worth. You validate yourself. Praise does not make you, and criticism does not break you. You become untouchable. Trap 2. Reacting instead of responding. Weak people react emotionally to everything. They hear bad news and panic. Someone insults them and they lash out. Something doesn't go their way and they spiral. This gives other people power over them. Those who are truly in control do not react emotionally. They respond strategically. They take a deep breath, assess the situation, and act in a way that serves them. This is the difference between being controlled and being in control. Trap 3. Fear of conflict. Most people avoid conflict because it makes them uncomfortable. This is why they are weak. The powerful understand that conflict is part of life. They do not fear confrontation. They do not run from difficult situations. They know that standing their ground, even when it's uncomfortable, is what separates leaders from followers. Trap 4. Holding on to emotional baggage. Weak people carry the weight of past failures, regrets, and betrayals. They let old wounds define them. But high-status individuals do not dwell on the past. They use it. They extract lessons and move forward. They do not waste time on resentment or self-pity. They keep their focus on what they can control right now. Trap 5. Allowing emotions to cloud judgment. Weak individuals allow emotions to dictate their decisions. They let anger make them reckless. They let fear keep them small. They let love blind them to reality. The powerful do the opposite. They separate emotions from decisions. They do not ignore emotions, but they do not let emotions override logic. They think first. Act second. How to develop unbreakable emotional control. If you want to operate at a level of power most people never reach, you must train yourself to be unshakable. Here's how. Control your breathing. Never look rattled. The moment your breathing becomes shallow, you lose control. Slow, deep breaths keep you calm, composed, and powerful, no matter what is happening around you. Master the art of emotional reframing. When something triggers you, pause. Before reacting, ask yourself, how can I use this? Every emotional reaction is a choice. Choose to reframe anger into clarity, fear into preparation, and frustration into fuel. Use neutral language to stay in command. People who lack emotional control use extreme language. This is a disaster. I can't handle this. The powerful use neutral controlled language. This is a challenge. Let's handle it. The words you use dictate how you feel. Choose wisely. Never show desperation. Detach from outcomes. Desperation is emotional weakness. The more you need something, the less power you have. Train yourself to operate from a place of abundance, whether it's a deal, a relationship, or an opportunity. Want it, but never need it. Become comfortable with discomfort. Emotional mastery is about resilience. Expose yourself to controlled stress, cold showers, intense workouts, high-pressure situations. Make discomfort your ally and nothing will shake you. The moment you master emotion, you master life. Most people will never achieve emotional mastery. They will continue reacting impulsively, living as slaves to their emotions. They will be controlled by fear, triggered by criticism, and thrown off balance by circumstances. But you are different now. From this moment forward, you take command of your emotions. You are no longer reactive. You are strategic. You are no longer controlled. You are in control. And because of that, you are now untouchable. Chapter 12. The Hidden Power of Influence. How to make anyone follow your lead. Power isn't about strength alone. It's about control. And control isn't about force. It's about influence. Influence is the ability to shape minds, direct actions, and create loyalty without resistance. It's the force that makes people not only listen to you, but follow you without question. The weak demand attention, beg for respect, or force their way into positions of authority. The powerful don't ask for influence, they command it. They walk into a room and shift the atmosphere. People hang on to their words. Their presence alone demands attention. And it's not by accident, it's by design. Most people are clueless about influence. They assume it comes from titles, money, or charisma. They are wrong. True influence isn't about what you have. It's about what you know. It's about how you engineer perception and make people see you as someone worth following. Influence is psychological warfare, and those who understand its principles control the game. If you can master this, you will never struggle for authority again. You will never feel ignored. You will never be overlooked. You will have the ability to pull people toward you effortlessly, whether in business, relationships, or any social dynamic. The psychology of influence. How powerful people control others. What makes someone influential? It's not luck, and it's not random. It's a formula. Every powerful person throughout history, from emperors to business moguls, follows the same psychological principles to influence others. They know how to make people trust them, follow them, and even defend them without question. They know how to create a magnetic presence that makes others feel drawn to them. They know how to trigger the deep subconscious instincts that make people naturally want to obey. And once you learn these secrets, you will never be on the sidelines again. At the core of influence are 3 psychological triggers that control human behavior. 1. The power of perceived authority. People don't follow the most talented person. They follow the person who looks like they should be followed. Authority is perception. If you act like a leader, people will treat you like one. If you present yourself as powerful, people will believe it, even if you aren't. The secret? Control the way you speak, move, and react. Speak with certainty. Move with purpose. Never look hesitant. The world takes cues from your behavior. If you believe you're in control, others will too. 2. The rule of scarcity and desire. People chase what they can't have. They value what is rare. If you are always available, always desperate for attention, always seeking approval, you have no influence. The most influential people understand the power of scarcity. They are not always accessible. They are selective about their time. They create demand for their presence, and because of that, people value them more. The art of emotional connection. Influence isn't just about power. It's about making people feel something. People don't follow logic. They follow emotions. If you make someone feel important, if you trigger excitement, admiration, or even fear, you own their attention. Influence isn't about facts. It's about feelings. Master emotions, and you master people. How to become instantly more influential. If you want to become a person that others respect, follow, and listen to without question, you must start applying these influence principles immediately. Here's how. Speak with absolute conviction. People follow confidence. If you hesitate, doubt yourself, or use weak language, you lose influence. Speak as if your words are law. Never say, "I think," or "maybe." Say, "This is how it is." Control your presence. Never rush, never fidget. Move with intention. People notice when you take up space with calm, dominant energy. The way you carry yourself sends a stronger message than words ever can. Limit your availability. If you are too accessible, people take you for granted. Make them earn your time. When you make people wait, they value you more. Use the power of silence. Weak people talk too much. The powerful control conversations by knowing when to pause. Silence makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to fill the space. And in that moment, you control them. Create emotional highs. People follow those who make them feel something intense. If you make someone feel excitement, admiration, or even a little fear, they will become addicted to your presence. Emotion is influence. The secret of unbreakable social control. The final key to ultimate influence? Control perception. Influence isn't just about what you say. It's about what people believe about you. You must shape the way people see you before they even meet you. The most powerful individuals carefully engineer their reputation. They control their image. They make sure that when people hear their name, they associate it with power, success, and authority. This is why mystery is more powerful than transparency. If people think they know everything about you, you lose influence. Keep certain things hidden. Let them wonder. Make them curious. The unknown creates intrigue, and intrigue creates power. Influence is the real currency of power. Money can be lost. Titles can be taken. Strength fades. But influence? Influence is permanent. Influence means people will protect you, defend you, follow you, even if they don't fully understand why. Influence is the ability to move through the world effortlessly, with people willingly opening doors for you. It means opportunities come to you, not the other way around. It means you do not chase, you attract. Most people will never understand this. They will continue fighting for respect, begging for attention, and forcing their way into rooms where they do not belong. But you are different now. You know the hidden rules of influence. You know that power isn't about shouting the loudest. It's about controlling perception. You know that the greatest form of control is making others want to follow you. And because of that, from this moment forward, you will never struggle for influence again. Chapter 13, Psychological Warfare. How to read, control, and dominate any interaction. Every conversation is a battle. Every interaction is a game of power. The difference between those who control the battlefield and those who are used as pawns comes down to one thing: psychological warfare. The ability to read people like an open book, predict their next move before they make it, and subtly guide them into doing exactly what you want, without them even realizing it. This is not manipulation. This is mastery. Weak individuals walk into a room and hope for acceptance. The powerful? They walk in already knowing they own the space. They know who to target, who to ignore, and who can be turned into an asset. They see through lies, detect hidden motives, and subtly plant ideas into the minds of others, all while looking like they're doing nothing at all. Most people go through life blind. They listen to words, but fail to hear what's really being said. They see expressions, but miss the microsignals that reveal the truth. They react emotionally rather than strategically. They get caught off guard, blindsided by deception, and left powerless in situations they should have dominated. But not you. Not anymore. Once you master psychological warfare, you will never be deceived again. You will see beyond words, control conversations, and make people think they are making their own choices, when in reality, you are pulling the strings. The 3 laws of psychological warfare. To win any interaction, you must first understand the hidden forces that dictate human behavior. These laws govern every social exchange, from high-stakes business deals to simple conversations. Master them, and you will have an unfair advantage in every room you enter. 1. People reveal more than they intend, if you know where to look. Every person leaks information without realizing it. Their body language, eye movements, tone of voice, and even their pauses in speech tell you everything you need to know. Someone who is lying will give themselves away with micro-expressions. Someone who is nervous will fidget in ways they don't even notice. Someone who is attracted to you will unconsciously mimic your movements. The weak only hear words. The powerful read the truth hidden beneath them. 2. Control the frame. Control the outcome. Every conversation has a frame, an unspoken power dynamic that determines who is in control. The person who sets the frame controls the direction of the discussion. If you let someone else establish dominance, you become reactive, defending yourself, explaining yourself, or trying to gain their approval. But when you control the frame, others follow your lead. You dictate the pace. You decide what matters. You make them play by your rules. And the moment you control the frame, you control the interaction. 3. The power of strategic silence. Silence is a weapon. Weak people fill space with words. They over-explain, justify, and seek reassurance. The powerful? They know that silence creates pressure. A well-timed pause forces the other person to reveal more than they intended. A controlled lack of reaction makes them question themselves. Strategic silence makes people work harder for your approval, exposing their insecurities and making them more likely to comply with your direction. When used correctly, silence is louder than any word you could ever say. How to read people like a human lie detector. If you want to dominate any interaction, you must first see people for who they truly are, not who they pretend to be. Most people wear masks, hiding their true emotions, intentions, and weaknesses, but their body betrays them. Learn to read the signals and you will see through deception instantly. Eye movements tell you everything. When people lie, their eyes shift rapidly as their brain scrambles for a story. When someone is accessing a real memory, their eyes naturally move to the side. But when they are inventing something, their eyes move upwards. Pay attention, and you will catch every lie. Mirroring reveals true intentions. People unconsciously mimic the body language of those they are attracted to or aligned with. If you shift your posture and they subtly adjust to match, they are subconsciously drawn to you. If they stay rigid, they are resisting your influence. Feet point where the mind wants to go. Someone's words may say they are interested, but their feet never lie. If their feet are pointed toward you, they are fully engaged. If their feet are angled away, their mind is elsewhere. Watch the feet, and you will know who is truly listening. Micro-expressions betray hidden emotions. A person can fake a smile, but they cannot fake the tiny micro-muscle movements in their face. A flash of disgust, a flicker of fear, a suppressed smirk, all reveal emotions they are trying to hide. Train yourself to catch these fleeting signals, and you will know their true feelings before they say a word. How to control any conversation without resistance. Reading people is only half the battle. The real power lies in directing them, subtly guiding their emotions, framing their decisions, and making them believe your ideas were theirs all along. This is influence at the highest level. Use the law of reciprocity. People feel obligated to return favors. Give something small, a compliment, a useful insight, a subtle nod of approval, and they will unconsciously feel the need to repay you, making them more likely to comply with your requests. The illusion of choice? Never demand. Instead, give people the illusion of control. Frame your requests as choices. both leading to the outcome you want. Would you rather start this today or tomorrow? The decision is already made. They are just choosing the timing. Control the pace of speech. Fast talkers overwhelm and pressure people. Slow, deliberate speech conveys authority and makes people lean in. Lower your tone, slow your words, and watch as others subconsciously give you control. The strategic pause. When someone finishes speaking, wait 3 seconds before responding. This forces them to fill the silence, often revealing more information or backtracking. Use silence to make them uncomfortable, and they will work harder to gain your approval. Once you master psychological warfare, you control the game. The world is filled with people who think they are in control when, in reality, they are being controlled. They are swayed by emotions, manipulated by stronger personalities, and unknowingly give away power in every conversation they have. But that is not you. Not anymore. You now see beyond words. You detect deception instantly. You control conversations without resistance. And because of that, you are now untouchable in any social battlefield. Most will never understand these principles. They will continue reacting emotionally, missing hidden cues, and being outmaneuvered by those who do. But you will walk into every room, knowing you already own it. You will navigate conversations with precision, pulling the strings while others believe they are acting on their own free will. And as a result, you will never be powerless again. Chapter 14. The Unstoppable Mindset. How to become a dominant force in every area of life. Power isn't just about influence. It isn't just about control. True power is unshakable. It is the ability to walk into any situation, no matter how chaotic, no matter how high the stakes, and remain calm, focused, and completely in control. It is the ability to dominate, not just in conversations, but in your career, relationships, and personal ambitions. It is the kind of power that makes you untouchable, unbreakable, and absolutely unstoppable. Most people are weak because their minds are weak. They are controlled by emotions, driven by fear, and destroyed by doubt. They hesitate when they should act. They overthink when they should dominate. They are easily shaken by rejection, failure, or someone else's opinion. They live small lives, always waiting for permission, always seeking approval, but not you. Not anymore. If you want to rise above the rest, if you want to become someone who commands attention, loyalty, and respect without effort, then you must build a mindset that cannot be broken. A mindset so resilient, so aggressive, so focused that nothing, no obstacle, no setback, no challenge can stop you. This is the final piece of the blueprint. The core principles of an unstoppable mindset. Every dominant individual throughout history, every leader, every billionaire, every top-level performer, has one thing in common. They do not think like ordinary people. They do not let fear control them. They do not hesitate. They do not waste time on doubt. Instead, they have trained their minds to operate on a different level. To reach this level, you must adopt the core principles that separate the powerful from the powerless. 1. Kill self-doubt before it kills you. The weak lose before they even start because they sabotage themselves with hesitation. What if I fail? What if they judge me? What if I'm not good enough? These thoughts are poison. Every time you let them control you, you hand over your power. Confidence isn't about always being right. It's about never hesitating. The strongest minds are not free of doubt. They are simply trained to ignore it. The moment hesitation creeps in, you must crush it immediately. No second guessing. No waiting. No asking for permission. 2. Embrace discomfort. Like a weapon. Most people avoid discomfort. They stay in their comfort zones, afraid to push themselves, afraid to struggle. And because of that, they remain weak. The powerful, They chase discomfort. They deliberately put themselves in situations that force them to grow. They understand that every moment of pain, every challenge, every failure is an opportunity to become stronger. If something scares you, run toward it. If something is difficult, do it anyway. Every time you conquer discomfort, you become a stronger, sharper, more dominant version of yourself. The mind grows through fire, not comfort. 3. Develop an unbreakable work ethic. Talent is nothing without discipline. Intelligence is nothing without action. The people who dominate in life are not always the smartest or the most gifted. They are the ones who relentlessly outwork everyone else. The weak make excuses. The powerful, they grind. They wake up earlier. They push harder. They sacrifice distractions. While others are wasting time, they are building their empire. They do not wait for motivation. They do not rely on inspiration. They execute, no matter how they feel, because they understand that power is built in the hours no one sees. 4. Control your emotions. Control the game. Weak people are slaves to their emotions. They let anger, jealousy, fear, and frustration dictate their decisions. And because of that, they are easily manipulated. The powerful, they control their emotions like a weapon. They know when to show passion and when to stay cold. They never let anger cloud their judgment. They never let fear stop them. They never let emotions override logic. They use emotions strategically, but never let emotions use them. If you can remain calm in chaos, if you can think clearly when others panic, you will always have the upper hand. The person who controls their emotions controls the situation. 5. Eliminate weakness without mercy. The truth: most people are soft. They make excuses. They avoid hard work. They settle for mediocrity. And because of that, they stay small. If you want to be different, if you want to rise above the weak, you must develop the ability to mercilessly cut out anything that makes you weak. Bad habits? Eliminate them. Toxic people? Remove them. Fear? Crush it. Self-pity? Destroy it. If something does not make you stronger, it has no place in your life. Power comes from discipline. No compromises. No negotiations. No excuses. How to build an iron, well, that never breaks a strong mind, is not built overnight. It is not something you are born with. It is something you train. And once you build an unshakable mindset, nothing in this world will be able to break you. Destroy the victim mentality. Weak people blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for their failures. The powerful, they take full responsibility for everything. No complaining, no excuses, only action. Develop an execution mindset. Thinking means nothing without action. The difference between the successful and the unsuccessful? The successful don't wait, they move. Stop overanalyzing, stop doubting. Make the decision, take the action, adjust later. Train yourself to love challenges. The weak complain when things get hard. The powerful, they thrive in difficulty. They see challenges as an opportunity to sharpen their skills and dominate. Every obstacle is fuel for your growth. Never rely on motivation. Motivation is a lie. It fades. It disappears when things get tough. The most powerful individuals in the world do not wait to feel inspired. They take action, no matter what. Discipline is the only thing that guarantees success. The final truth: you are now unstoppable. Most people will never reach this level. They will continue making excuses, hesitating, blaming circumstances, and living at 10% of their true potential. They will read books, watch motivational videos, and still remain weak because they will never take action. But you are different now. You understand what it takes to be powerful. You understand what it takes to dominate. You understand that the world belongs to those who are ruthlessly disciplined, emotionally controlled, and completely unshakable. From this moment forward, you will no longer think like the weak. You will no longer hesitate. You will no longer doubt yourself. You will move with absolute certainty. You will execute without hesitation. You will embrace the struggle, knowing that every challenge makes you stronger. And because of that, you will never be ignored again. You will never be powerless again.